Hello and welcome to another video session here at NAV SEAL. I'm delighted to see you again. Today I would like to talk a little bit about BOMs, bill of materials. And so what is bill of material? Bill of material, or in short a BOM, is you could call it a recipe. So just imagine that you run a business where you sell some items that is actually made up of some components. So you go to the warehouse, you find your 1, 2, 3, 4 components, put them all together and sell it as a finished packed item. Some refer to it as a kitting, and that's another wording for BOM, but in Business Central it's called a BOMs, bill of materials. Now a BOM can consist of different things. It can consist of items, or it can consist of resources. So that means we can have some physical items that we want to put into this final product, final package, if you will. And we could have some resources that might be we need a resource to actually put it all together, or that some work that needs to be done to actually get to that finished output, that item that you want to sell to the customer. Now, when I say item, so you could imagine just that you have your recipe list. You say, I need this item, I need this item, I need that item, and so on. That makes up your bill of material. Now, that item could also be a bill of material. So, in another word, you can have bill of materials inside of bill of materials. Again, some people refer to those as phantom BOMs. And again, it just means that you could have one item number representing a lot of other item numbers that goes into actually making that final product that you're going to sell to the customer. Now, talking of BOMs in Business Central, there are two different types of BOMs. We have assembly BOMs and we have production BOMs. Those are two different things. Production BOMs are used for the manufacturing, and manufacturing can handle BOMs in a different way, and it can make a lot more, you could say, detailed, because it can handle routings, it can handle costing, it can handle subcontracting to actually get to a finished product. Assembly BOMs, which I'm going to show you today, is a little bit more simple, and again, some call it kitting. It's just basically gathering the items that you want to get into the finished product you want to sell. That makes up the assembly BOM. So let's try and have a look at it in Business Central. When you look at the item list in Business Central, you might notice that there's a column called assembly BOM, and there's one called a production BOM. So again, that's two different things. Let's focus on the assembly BOM. Let's find an example in here. So in here, you can see there's one line down here, conference bundle 1 to 6. Let's try and have a look at that. So when you look at this item, it looks like any other item. But as you could see from the list, it is actually a bill of material. So if I go up to my related bill of materials, assembly and assembly BOM, it will show me the list, the things that goes into this BOM. And as you can see here, there's two items. There's a conference table and there's a chair, a black chair. And then there's a resource called Catherine. So Catherine is going to do some installation. So that's for us to kind of capture the cost for actually putting this together and sell that as a bundle to the customer. And you can just add lines to it, all the lines that you want to put into it. You can do that here. Now up here you can see the BOM, you can show the BOM, and there's nothing really magic about this one. This one will show you the top level. This is the final output called. This is the item we're going to sell to the customer, 1925-W. That's called a conference bundle 1 to 6, and it consists of these three lines. You can see it's more indented down here. If I just click that, I can expand it again, and you can see those are actually the lines that goes into it. Okay, let's try and go back to the item again. So there's an important thing here when you set up items like this. Down here in our replenishment. So when we do replenishment, you would set it up as an assembly. And when you do that, you kind of have to look at the assembly policy. So how do you want to do this? Assemble to stock means that you're going to have demand sales orders created for customers that wants this conference bundle. And if you have assemble to stock, we're going to use all the planning parameters we have in here, reorder points, minimum, and so on and so on. But if you don't really want to keep inventory of that, because you might have chairs being used for all different types of bundles, so you really don't want to create those bundles up front. You just want to do it when the customer actually wants or orders that specific bundle. Then you would change it to assemble to order. So that means the planning system will not look at this item and try and plan it, because we will only be looking at the BOM when there's actually a customer, when there's actually a demand for this specific bundle 1 to 6. Okay, let's try and leave it like that, because I want to show you. Now, we're going to have a customer creating a sales order for this specific bundle. So let's try and create a sales order, see how does it look like. Let's create a new one up here. And we'll just get a customer trade research. I'm sure they're into this pretty bundle here. Let's minimize that. Okay, let's look at our list here. So this item is going to show like any other item. So here we have it, 1925 conference bundle. Got plenty in stock. Oh, great. Okay, so we're gonna sell it from our main location. So we got one in here. Now, as you can see, we're gonna sell it like 1925, but how do we actually tell the inventory that they have to assemble this? So if it was set for stock, we would just leave it like this and say, okay, that's great. They're gonna take care of it in the planning department. They're gonna make sure it's gonna show up in our planning worksheet, and then they're gonna plan that, and they're gonna put it all together. When that's done, we can ship this sales order. Now, let me show you a few options here. In here, let me see here, you have some functions. And in here you can select something called explode BOM. Sounds crazy saying explode, but okay, when I select explode BOM, it will ask you, okay, how do you want to treat dimensions? Okay, I want to use it from the components. We're not going to get into that right now. But as you can see here, it's going to change the top line to a comment line saying, oh, this is actually the conference bundle. And it's going to show me my bill of material, the components that goes into my assembly BOM, and show that line by line. So in this way, I'm actually selling it piece by piece. So this is actually the BOM. You recognize the 3 lines we looked at just before when we looked at the item for the bundle. It was actually those 3 lines. So if I explode the BOM, I'm actually selling them one by one. And I'm selling Catherine as an installation, saying, okay, Catherine has to put it together, and then you're gonna get that as the full shipment. That's one way to do it. Let me delete that. Oh, we want to delete them all. Come on. And yeah, we're gonna manage, and we're gonna delete the lines. Okay, let's try again. 1925, I think it was. Here we go. And main location, and one of those. Now, this is still set to assemble to stock, meaning the planning department will take care of it. But there might be scenarios when we have a setup like that. I'm saying, no, I want to make sure that it's done now because I want to ship it now, and I'm not going to wait for the planning department. So you see there's a field called quantity to assemble to order. If I key in the one quantity on that, you see there's some magic happening in here, and I'm gonna click OK. I'm gonna click on the 3 dots here, and it's gonna open my document and assembly order. So this assembly order is actually instruction to the warehouse or whoever's gonna take care of this assembly, saying, okay, item number 1925-W, we have 1 in order. So what does it take to actually assemble that order, we need one of the table, we need 6 chairs, and we need catering to put it together. So this document, the assembly order, is an instruction to catering or the warehouse to actually handle this and put it all together. This is linked directly to the sales order. So it means that once we have done this and posted this document, oops, sorry, I'm up here. When we're ready to post it, it will actually take all of those components we have down here and transfer, make a negative adjustment out of inventory and make one positive adjustment for the 1925. So once that assembly order has been posted, we can actually take that box or whatever they put it into the shipping area and say, okay, now we can actually ship it from the sales order. So that is how we can use the assembly orders. Now I did this manually. I keyed in the one here. If I have a policy, let me try and go back to the item. Let me show you what the difference is here. Let us find the conference bundle again. Let's open the item card and let's go down here and change it to assemble to order. This means we want to create an assembly to order every time there's a demand for it. We're not going to wait for planning department to do anything. Let's try and go back to our sales order and see if we can find the same one again and let's just sort it the other way around for the tray up in the top. And I'm gonna add the same item, 1925. See what happened here? It automatically created the assembly order. Now it didn't default my location, but I think you get the idea here is that if you do that, it knows by default that we have to create an assembly order to actually put those components together so we can sell the conference bundle to this customer. So this is the way you can use it on sales orders. Let me show you a little more complex item and with bill of material, assembly BOM, sorry. Let me go down here, See, oh here, see 1969-W, that's a conference package. Let's try and have a look at that. So it's an item like any other item, and we have it set up for assembly, and this is set up for assembly to order. Okay, good. When we sell this, let's try and have a look at the bill of materials. Assembly BOM. Okay, there's only 2 items and 1 resource, a little bit like the other one, but notice the column assembly BOM is actually a yes. So when we sell this conference package, we're actually selling a bundle 2 to 8 and a guest section 1. So this is another. Let's try and look up this item number. Show details. So this is the conference bundle. Let's have a look at bill of materials, assembly BOM. See here, that's another recipe, if you will, on what is actually in the bundle. So as I mentioned in the beginning, this is what some people refer to as a phantom BOM. It's a BOM inside of the BOM. It's like having boxes in boxes in boxes. So you could have a lot of levels if you really wanted to do that. Of course, it makes it more complex to work with the more levels you have in BOMs. And I think that's kind of a top or maximum number of levels. That's 50, I think. But I've never really seen any companies use 50 levels inside of an assembly BOM. That's crazy. You can't really operate with that. And when I say it like that, let's try and go back to my conference package. So how can I visualize all of those levels in one page? Let's try and look at my top conference package here, my assembly BOM. Those are the 2 BOMs that's inside my BOM. If I click on BOM up here and show BOM, see, My conference package, which is the top one, this is the item I'm actually selling to the customer. That is the conference package. But it actually consists of this one and this one. So you can see here, you can expand or collapse. So if I collapse it, it looks a bit like when you look at the assembly BOM. If I really want to see all the levels, I'm just going to expand all my levels and I can see how many goes into this formula, if you will, my assembly BOM. All of those items goes into my conference package. Table, green chair, some more green chairs, and some mobile pedestal goes into this. So that's an example of where you make it a little bit more complex and you have phantom BOMs inside of the top BOM. So I think in short, that was my try to explain assembly BOMs and how you can use them. It's kind of assembly BOMs is your recipe on how do you put things together to get to your final product, the product you want to sell to your customer. I hope it makes some kind of sense this. Do you have any questions or any comments? Feel free to make comments to the video. I'm happy to respond to it, even to meet if you want to do that. For now, I'm really happy that you joined. I hope to see you another time. Thank you.
Thanks for watching this video from NAV SEAL. Check out more right here. NAV SEAL offer assistance and counsel on any existing solution. So if you're in need of assistance, don't hesitate to contact us on navseal.com or LinkedIn. Consider leaving a like and subscribe for more tips, news, and guides to anything Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central.